But as long as he's going away and he can't harm anybody else, then good.
The judge describes his crime as evil. His sentence coming up.
Then a neighborhood's journey to rebuild. We'll look at East Moline 1 year after a devastating tornado.
WHBF is local for you. This is Local 4 News this morning.
Good Thursday morning or Friday Eve. I'm Emily Scarlett. Thanks for watching Local 4 News this morning.
And I'm James Sears. A 19-year-old found guilty of murder will spend 62 years in prison.
That's the sentence handed down to Lamari Wilson Newlieb yesterday. He originally pleaded guilty to the deadly Moline shooting back in October of 2015, but later withdrew his plea after learning he'd be sent to an adult prison. He was retried last year and still found guilty. Local 4's Brianna Collier has reaction.
Not only did you kill him, a part of me died that day. He meant so much to many of us.
Zach Phillips' mother read her impact statement today in court as a Rock Island County judge sentenced Lamari Wilson Newlieb to a total of 62 years in the Illinois Department of Corrections. The 19-year-old killed 18-year-old Zach Phillips and wounded 19-year-old Eric Roberson when he shot them in a parked car in Moline. Newlieb opened fire over a drug deal in May of 2015.
This is the second time we had to do this. He was sentenced initially. He did a plea, and the judge initially sentenced him to 60 years. He decided he wanted to take back his plea.
Judge Gregory Chikris described the crime as premeditated, evil, and malicious. McGehee says the use of a firearm added to Wilson Newlieb's sentence.
The gun enhancement is that if somebody commits murder with a firearm, there is an additional 25 years that are added onto the sentence.
Zach Phillips' mother, Lindsay McCoy, says she is content with the sentence.
I'm fine with it. 62 years, I'll be dead. So I don't know if he'll live that long in prison or not. I don't know. But as long as he's going away and he can't harm anybody else, then good.
She says she is happy to finally have justice served.
I'm just glad this part of it's over, and maybe there can be some, people that find peace, ex-friends, myself, family. I'd like to thank everybody that supported all of us through this whole thing.
That was Brianna Collier reporting. Thanks for that. Also this morning, it's been 1 year since a devastating EF2 tornado tore through the area around Rapid City. The Evergreen Village neighborhood in East Moline took a hard hit that night. Rebuilding efforts are still underway even today. The neighbors we spoke with say slowly but surely things are getting back to normal, but the memory of the storm has changed how they react when they hear tornado warnings.
All the neighbors around here helped everyone else do whatever needed to be done.
It still doesn't look like the neighborhood because most of the trees are still missing.
The neighbors are hoping to hold an official tornado anniversary party once the weather warms up.
Well, there's more fallout over U.S. Representative Steve King's anti-immigrant comments from fellow Republican and Iowa Senator Chuck Grassley.
The only thing I worry about is the principle of immigration and what immigration does for the United States. And I tried to demonstrate this by telling people last weekend that I have a daughter-in-law from Korea. I have a granddaughter-in-law from Ethiopia. They have enriched our family. I think they've enriched America.
Congressman King has been under fire for days after he tweeted that Muslims do not enrich America.
Meanwhile, hundreds of people from across the state fled the Illinois Capitol. Nearly 300 people came together yesterday to send a clear message to lawmakers about immigration reform. They say laws should welcome immigrants, not exclude or degrade them. Several lawmakers made an appearance to show their support. Issues on the table include safe zones, voter registration, education, and rights for the children of undocumented immigrants.
The Quad Cities is hosting a one-of-a-kind conference on child abuse and neglect. It's happening today at the iWireless Center. The annual Children Exposed to Violence Conference will take place from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. It provides regional child and family professionals with current research and prevention to childhood adversity and trauma. More than 240 professionals from a variety of fields are expected. It's hosted by the Child Abuse Council.
This morning, T-Mobile engineers are in Dallas working to fix the city's emergency call system after a babysitter never got through to dispatchers while a 6-month-old was dying.
Anna Daniels has the latest on the family that is mourning the loss of that baby and how other families are now coming forward.
Say hi, Mommy. These pictures and videos are some of the last moments Bridget Alex has with her 6-month-old son, Brandon. The toddler was home with his babysitter Saturday night when he fell and stopped breathing.
I would never want no mother, no father to go through the pain that I'm going through right now.
The babysitter called 911 twice, but was put on hold each time. The final call shows she was on hold for more than 30 minutes and never got through. The city says the 911 system was jammed by what's referred to as ghost calls from T-Mobile users. Calls that are made unintentionally and unknown to the caller and then appear on a dispatcher's screen as hang-ups. The city of Dallas reports it had a surge of ghost calls from T-Mobile numbers on Saturday. At one point, 422 calls were on hold, an ongoing problem since November. In a statement, T-Mobile says company engineers have been working daily to find a permanent solution to the problem.
My husband died a week ago Monday. How many others died?
And now other families in Dallas are coming forward. David Taffet called 911 from his Cricket Wireless phone after his husband stopped breathing.
I got the message that to please hold on, that all operators are busy.
His husband later died of a heart attack.
I couldn't save him.
Taffet says he believes the problems he encountered were not related to his service provider. Hannah Daniels, CBS News.
More than 1 million people rely on the Dallas 911 system. City officials say if people there do have to call 911 and are put on hold, don't hang up.
President Trump's revised executive order that was supposed to take effect today is now on hold. Yesterday, a federal judge in Hawaii issued a temporary restraining order on key parts of the order, including the immigration and travel ban for citizens of 6 predominantly Muslim countries. The president told supporters at a rally in Nashville last night he'll fight all the way to the Supreme Court if necessary. Meanwhile, Secretary of State Rex Tillerson is in Japan today, meeting with the Prime Minister. He'll also visit South Korea and China, where he's likely to discuss trade and the simmering tensions in the region following North Korea's recent missile launches.
Well, if your coworkers seem a little distracted today, you can blame it on March Madness. The NCAA road to the Final Four begins this afternoon. 64 teams from every corner of the country are competing. The tournament wraps up April 3rd in Phoenix. And a programming note, Local 4 News is local for you by taking you along for the ride during Augustana's men's quest for the national championship. Local 4 Sports Director Jay Kidwell will be in Virginia following the players. We'll bring you live reports on Facebook along the way today. Our coverage continues tomorrow from Salem before the game begins at 6:30. Jay will have the highlights and reaction from the team on a late edition of Local 4 News at 10.
Well, who says squirrels only eat nuts, especially when there are discarded meat patties laying around? The weather was windy and frigid in Washington, but a news photographer spotted this squirrel who clearly knows good eating when he sees it. Squirrels typically eat plants, nuts, and other vegetation, but when hungry, they'll eat just about anything. I'm not at all surprised by that. Hey, if they see something laying around, I don't think they're going to just walk past it. Oh, I'm going to pass this and look for some nuts.
Yeah, beggars can't be choosers, I guess, even in the animal world especially.
Exactly. Well, checking in now with meteorologist Anthony Peoples. It has been cold. We've seen snow, but now things are turning around for the better.
Things are starting to look nicer outside. More of the snow melted away, so hopefully you enjoyed that 6 inches of snow that we picked up in the Quad Cities, because it is quickly melting away. But a beautiful sunrise getting ready to get underway here across the Mississippi River Valley. Our current temperature right now is 16 degrees in Moline, east winds at 5. Same temperature, a little bit more wind in Davenport. You can see those high clouds blowing in from the west. Right now getting ready to approach the Mississippi River, and we saw a few of those on the sky cam there. And as the day goes on, thickening clouds that'll lead to some drizzle this evening or maybe some light rain later on. This will continue through tonight and early tomorrow morning. Not looking for a lot, maybe a 1/10 of an inch at the most, so not a big rainmaker, but it will be enough to dampen the roadways.
And you said we could use some of this moisture. You mentioned that this time of the year we count snow melting. We really haven't seen a whole lot of that, haven't seen a lot of rain, so.
Yeah, we're running about an inch below where we should for the first 2.5 months of this year, and this won't be the one to take care of that, but another system comes in early next week and another one late next week. We might add a little bit more to it. And a final note here, I thought you were talking about me there when you said, if you're hungry enough, you'll eat anything. And then I realized you were talking about the squirrel.
I think
there.
we're all guilty of that from time to time. Thanks, Anthony.
Thanks.
A look back at round 1 of tournament play for the Hawkeyes.
That and more ahead in your morning sports.
Stay with us. You're watching Local 4 News this morning. The time is 6:41.
WHBF is local for you with James Sears, Emily Scarlett, and meteorologist Anthony Peoples. This is Local 4 News this morning in high definition.